Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Gas South Convention Center in Duluth, Georgia, it's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. Gwinnett Business Radio is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts.
Greetings and salutations, loyal listeners of Gwinnett Business Radio. It is your slightly annoying host, Stephen Julian. Welcome to, like I said, Gwinnett Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studios inside the Gas South District Convention Center. We've got two great guests coming up soon. Tunji Ajibada is here from Moneycopilot, and Keisha Moore is here from KM Design. Before we get to that, I have to introduce. I am contractually obligated, but even if I wasn't contractually obligated, I'm thrilled and pleased to introduce my co-host, Garrett Irvin.
Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate you having me on your show.
Since the ACC Women's Tournament is being held here at the Gas South Arena, and they're all over the District Convention Center,
is that what that was?
I was about to introduce you as Garrett Irvin. But I didn't know if I had that much leash to go on.
Of course you do. You can always say, "Are we not entertained?" Too, right?
You could save that might be a tease for the end. That I may get to do that. Yeah. So,
well, we actually had the senior vice president of ACC women's basketball in the studio last week. Yeah. So that was pretty cool to see her.
I talked to some Hokie fans on the way in. They're facing my Yellow Jackets tonight, and it should be a good game. And they were on the way to try and cheer against Virginia losing this morning. Or this afternoon, so kind of cool. But we're not here to talk basketball. We're here to talk business. We've got two great guests, as I said already. So why don't we just kick off the show and bring him in. He is the president and the chief financial health specialist from Moneycopilot. He is Tunji Ajibada. Tunji, welcome to the studio.
Welcome.
Stephen, I got to correct you real quick.
Uh-oh.
Just because otherwise it's going to go on and on and on. That last name, it's Ajibada.
Ajibada.
Like
it is spelled that way on my page. Why did I?
It's a problem.
Ajibada.
It's not the first or the last time that it's going to happen.
Well, and before the show, you said, "Hey, I'll probably forget your name," and we joked about that because we both do it. And I butchered your name, so now okay. So let me do it again. Hey, he is the president and financial health specialist. He is Tunji Ajibada.
Yes.
There you go.
Good job, Steve.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, tell everybody about Moneycopilot and what the company does.
All right. So Moneycopilot is a no-shame money coaching company. And I know that might sound like something that's just made to be catchy, but the reality is so many people are living paycheck to paycheck these days and not getting the help that they need. The wealthy get all the help they need through financial advisors, helping them to invest and helping them with financial products. But so many people just need help budgeting, creating an accurate budget to live by, improving their credit, and then doing the most to maximize how they save their money. And that's where Moneycopilot comes into place. Because there's all sorts of education out there, a lot of tools available out there. But if those were the solutions, we wouldn't be having such a big problem, right?
So what makes them not necessarily solutions for the people you work with? Is it because they get lost, they don't know where to find them, they need someone to kind of stand alongside them? Talk about that.
You hit the nail on the head. Collaboration is key. A lot of people, when presented with the education that's out there, they may not be able to digest it. Some people may see tools and be like, I'm overwhelmed just by looking at the tool. I don't want to do math. Who grew up loving math, except for maybe me and a few other folks. But the thing that tends to set people back is that they'll see the education out there, they'll want to get it in their head, but then run into some sort of mental block or behavioral block that keeps them from advancing and making progress. By working with me, we collaborate and we make it to where they don't have to do it on their own. They don't have to get all the education in their mind on their own. They don't have to learn how to use the tools on their own. I come with the tool. I kind of become a cheat code for them to be able to move forward in a way that will be beneficial for their finances as opposed to them kind of having to waste time figuring it out on their own.
So you're actually taking all their financial information and packaging it into a more understandable set of information for them so they can move forward with, putting a budget in and getting ahead of the living to paycheck, like you say.
It's the packaging, it's translation, because a lot of times people are like, I don't get that. I don't understand how that credit card would benefit me in that way, or how I can save money by paying something in full for a year or whatever the case may be. And then on top of that, when it comes to utilizing the tools, they don't have when working with me, they don't have the block of, let me figure out how to use this tool. I already know how to use the tool. And I help them to ingest the information into the tool. And then the decisions that we can make from reviewing the information that they have from their finances in the tool allow us to then help them save more money, spend less, plan for things in advance, which a lot of people's troubles comes from just not being able to plan for things in advance.
Is that a product of people just being so busy, or they just don't want to think about it? They just want to set it aside and hopefully it fixes the problem on its own?
It's both, and a lot of it is learned behavior, or really behavior that hasn't been learned in the first place. So for example, our parents, we watch our parents and learn so much as we're growing up, both the good and the bad. And sometimes what they choose not to show us in terms of how they manage the finances shows up in how we end up trying to manage our finances later on. If a parent was, very much avoidant to managing their finances, especially in front of the kids, that's likely what a kid is going to do when they grow up to be an adult. In a similar fashion, schools, they don't have education paths to really address this, unless you're actually choosing to be in the financial industry and you then want to learn some math and accounting and things like that, right? But to the regular person, who knows what a checkbook is anymore? They don't cover that.
How to balance their account.
Exactly.
Yeah. Profit and loss statements should be taught in every high school math class, but that's...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So, Tunji, when someone comes to work with Moneycopilot, I've got to imagine there are different ways to engage with you and the company. So, talk us through how would a one-to-one start? Talk us through, you might offer classes, or how do people engage with Moneycopilot so that they can learn to use these tools and engage them in their life and make their money situation better?
Awesome. Great question. So when it comes to someone wanting to actually start the service, which I call Sidekick, Sidekick service, basically I become their sidekick to be able to help them do better on a financial basis. I offer what's called a money check. It's basically a free 20 minutes to kind of talk to them and understand what their situation is, and offer an estimate for what the work will cost for us to be able to do. Now, contrary to what a lot of other daily money managers or money coaches may offer, which is typically an hourly basis, my service is much more of a subscription-based service. So you're not having to think, okay, do I have the money this month to be able to do it? Because the number of hours is going to be more for this month, or whatever the case may be. You're going to know what it's going to be every month in order to make sure that it's at least consistent within your finances. Now, looking at that, once somebody has decided that they want to proceed with me, we go through an intake process that allows them to tell me what the details of their finances are. And I'll tell you, we often find that people don't know the full comprehensive view of what their expenses are. They'll tell me one thing to start with, but as we go through the process, we find out there's a hole in your budget there, another hole here. Oh, you forgot about this account over there, right? And so as we go through the process, we find out what the reality is and are able to figure out, this is how come you're overspending by $200, $300, maybe $500 a month or whatever, right? And that goes whether it's an individual or a business owner, right? If they're not using bookkeepers, for example, to help them keep their business books in order, in profit and loss in order, they're likely not to know what everything is. So we have to do a little bit of discovery work.
So you do work with small business owners as well as individuals.
Absolutely. A small business owner is responsible for not only their individual finances, but also this other entity that they decided to create, right? This baby business that has its own set of income and expenses if you're doing it right.
Correct. So if we're gonna give our listeners a chance to kind of get a little bit of a sneak peek if they did that money check, I would imagine, because you have this phrase that I want you to unpack on our show. What do you mean when you talk about it? I think you talk about it a lot through your coaching, giving every dollar a purpose.
Another good question. See, I like you more and more, Stephen.
Man, listen, I dug myself a hole. I am trying desperately to get out of it.
Okay, so when people start out with a budget, they often cover the major expenses in their life. Right? They know they have, I don't know, let's say $3,000 a month coming in. They know they have their rent or their mortgage. They know they have the utilities, groceries, things like that. But what tends to happen is that they miss things. For example, if you wanted to make sure that you had money for repairing a car, you would set aside money for that every month so that if/when it comes, you have it there, right? Exactly. Most people don't do that. They're like, oh, okay, I'll just, go work extra hours or see if I can get a loan or put it on the credit card, right, in order to be able to pay for it. Birthdays, Christmas, holidays like Halloween and all those things. People don't plan for what they're going to spend on during those times. Just it's a good time for me to go have and spend money that I didn't plan for. So those unplanned things end up being a problem. The way that I work with my clients as we're getting through on budgeting, we give the dollars that they have coming in a purpose by saying, okay, for this year, we're going to expect to spend $100 on Halloween. We're going to expect to spend $1,000 on Christmas. And we put money towards that goal every month to make sure that it's there. If we don't end up spending it, what we didn't spend becomes savings. And better yet, as we're working through the whole process, a lot of people think that credit cards are evil, that you shouldn't get them or you should limit it to only one credit card. But when you do that, you're limiting your capacity to compound your savings because there are cashback credit cards, points credit cards that can essentially allow you to live with anywhere from a 2 to 7% discount on your life if you do things right. By not taking advantage of that, you're essentially making it to where you're spending more on life than you really have to. Now, one of the reasons that I tend to focus on giving every dollar a purpose is because by doing that and identifying where your largest expense categories are, you can then maximize how much cash back that you're getting in those categories to, again, make it to where your savings is that much more by the end of the year.
So when you're talking about using credit cards to maximize your financial position, do you suggest people use credit cards once you go through the budget process to use credit cards to make purchases, like everyday purchases, and then they have that money set aside that they can pay off the credit card at the beginning of the month or whenever their statement arrives?
Yes, using credit cards responsibly is a hack. It's a good hack.
It is,
when
yes.
you do it the right way. Once we identify what the budget items are, I will often identify for people, okay, if you don't already have a cashback credit card that helps you maximize, let's say your 3 top categories are eating out at restaurants, gas, groceries, right? And then you want something for everything else. We're going to optimize your portfolio of credit cards so you at least get one that will maximize what you get from eating out at restaurants, maximize what you get from the gas and groceries, and then for everything else, at least 2% cash back, right? Let's do that so that the rest of the foundation in your budget, you're immediately getting a 2% discount. And then again, the goal is to pay it off every month. Now I understand that there's situations when you cannot do that. And when you're starting out in my program, some of my clients may not be able to do that at first. But by getting the cash back or positioning yourself to be able to get the cash back, you're essentially slowly accelerating how fast you can pay down those credit cards as well.
When talking about credit cards, obviously they're going to do a credit background check on you to make sure you're credit worthy. How much does credit score come into play when someone is applying for a new credit card that offers them more cash back or a more percentage return on that? Do they have to be at 750 or above or 850 above, or how does that play into your planning with them and what credit card they're actually choosing?
Excellent question. So credit plays a very important part in that. I personally tend to keep my score as high as I can. And if I'm not using my credit, it tends to be right at the 850 mark, right, which is considered to be, perfect in that regard. When I start to use it, because the balance, of course, goes up on my cards, the credit score goes down. But the fact that I kept it high in the first place allows me to take advantage of more credit opportunities when I do have to take advantage of them. So I try to get my clients to do something similar so that they're able to qualify for more opportunities. The credit markets are very much fragmented into credit cards that are kind of for the masses, credit cards that are for people with subpar credit, credit cards that are for people with really good credit. And the people with the really good credit tend to be the ones who get the best deals on the cash back. And that's not just the regular cash back that you get. This also extends to bonuses that you can get back for just signing up for a credit card.
And that's because they give those cards to the people that statistically are going to pay off their balances each month or carry small balances so that the credit card company gets some interest from them, but not default and things like that, I guess would be
that all factors in. In fact, I collaborated with a couple of friends of mine, Kelly Vandiver and Karen Baxter, one with Keller Williams as a realtor, and the other Karen with Capital City Home Loans. We did a first-time home buyer seminar last week, and one of the things that we talked about during that seminar was the fact that your credit score really just tells the lending institution whether or not you're a good bet to pay back and pay back on time. Whether you can actually pay what it is that you've been given in terms of the loan or credit card or whatever depends on your debt to income ratio. So they both work together to help you make that happen or get an appropriate loan or credit card. So through my program, we're organically working on helping you improve your credit score so that your likelihood to pay back is improved, right? As well as helping you decrease that debt to income ratio so that what you then qualify for over the long term gets better and better.
Tunji, I have a hard question I need to ask you, or it could be a stupid question. I'm allowed to ask one on each episode. And I'm on a really nice streak of not asking a stupid question. Now, unfortunately, I broke my streak of saying everybody's name correctly on this show. So I'm turning the page on that. Have you ever had a client not be successful in your program?
Stephen, why did you have to go there?
So it's not a dumb question. I did say it was a hard question.
Yeah, so, when it comes to money, it's very personal. And behavior factors into a lot of it. There are some people who don't like to follow instructions. They're kind of set in their ways, and you can't help somebody until they're ready to actually make some changes. So in that kind of situation, I certainly talk to people about what it is that's necessary for them to do, and then as we go through the program, I evaluate whether or not they're able to follow the steps. If they're able to follow the steps, then we make progress. If they're not able to follow the steps, then that means that rather than them doing homework outside of our sessions, we end up doing the homework during the sessions. And if we're able to do that there, cool. If they're not cooperative and doing the homework even during the sessions, you can't really do that.
You're not going to take money from people who don't want your help.
That's correct. And I don't do any contract. I'm not going to force this.
Right. And I would imagine also there's an opportunity. I would imagine one of the hard parts of your job, but I kind of get a sense of why you probably do it so well. You do have to. I call myself the slightly annoying host. You have to be a slightly annoying financial health specialist, because one of the things you have to do is go, you talked about the holes in the budget. There are other words for that too. Hey, this is not a good use of your money. You need to change it. But you say it in a way that, they're hearing what you say and they still want to keep working with you. Is that fair?
It's fair, and that's where the no shame comes from.
Good.
Not so much that I'm not ashamed to, belittle someone, because I'm not going to do that. But the way that we work is that you've already gotten yourself into a position. You're trying to get yourself out, so let's do what we can to get you out of that position, help you dig out of the hole that you put yourself into. And then let's do our best to align whatever your actual goals are and your money so that you're getting to the place where you want it to be. A lot of times, having to give bad news is received differently when you say, well, you said that you wanted to do X, but most of your money is going towards Y. What do you want to do about it?
And there's good news potentially coming if we take these steps. So
exactly.
In your marketing, I assume you have the clip from Terminator 2, and instead of Arnold, you're leaning down and you're saying, I'm Tunji Ajibeta. Come with me if you want to live, or come with me if you want to get financial health. Tunji, how do people work with Moneycopilot? How do they get in touch with you? How can they get your services?
Well, we've got the website, moneycopilot.com. We are active on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, even Blue Sky. And of course, sometimes you need to be able to kick the tires to be able to know if it's a good fit. I host once a month a user group meeting that I call the Sexy FICO User Group.
Whoa. Hold on. We just got the scoop here. Sexy
Steven? No.
FICO, FICO, right?
Yes, sir.
User group.
It's once a month. I host it in Suwannee Drive co-working location. My office is actually in Snellville, but that location is where I host it. And people are able to come through free, register for free, and we're able to talk through the questions that they may have about FICO score, credit, etc. I also host a similar once-a-month user group meeting called the North Georgia QuickBooks User Group meeting, where business owners can talk about questions.
And that's, so register for either of those monthly groups can be done through moneycopilot.com.
Absolutely.
As well as sign up for the Money Check 20-minute service.
Yep.
Figure out if they need to hire you for the Sidekick service and lots of other stuff. And again, not just individuals, but businesses as well.
Yep.
My goodness. A lot of listeners need to talk to you.
I am aware that the problem is widespread,
Yeah.
but again, there's the aspect of shame.
I like that. No shame. I like that.
Yeah.
Don't come with your shame. We're going to take steps from here so that you improve your financial situation.
My goal is to help. We build stronger consumers, stronger businesses, and that builds stronger communities.
All right, this is I've recovered. And I'm gonna do one last time. Tunji Ajibata.
So close.
Money. Ajibata. Dang it, girl. Tunji Ajibata.
I can cut that out.
Yeah.
We can edit that out.
I do have
after the
shame
show,
in messing up your name.
So you can save face a little bit there, Stephen.
That's good, man. Tunji, thank you for your grace. Thank you for working with me. I was so happy the phonetic spelling, and then I just didn't read what I wrote. So I'm an idiot, and you're awesome. Thank you very much.
We're all good.
Thank you, Tunji.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. A registration link is in the video description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on social media, and share with a friend.